The sniper from Team Fortress 2 is a destructive powerhouse. With no damage falloff in the right sightline, skilled snipers can halt entire lobbies. By far, Sniper is the most despised class in Team Fortress 2 for his unique skill of headshots. However, for all of his damage potential, Sniper has very little changes between primaries. On face value, the Huntsman seems like the biggest change to his playstyle, but the premise remains the same. Click heads, get kills. Even with the lack of versatility, the issue is moot, as a sniper rarely switches from their preferred primary. Stock, Machina, and the Bizarre Bargain are the rifles I see most often. On occasion, I will see a Huntsman or a Hitman's Heatmaker, and heck, I've even seen a Classic once in a while. However, this is not a video about the best, most used, or funniest rifles. This is a video about the most unique sniper primary, the Sydney Sleeper. I already hear you asking, if the Sydney Sleeper is so unique, why does no one use it? It's ass. The Sydney Sleeper truly seems like a complete negative. It removes the very aspect of sniping that everyone enjoys, the juicy, rain-splattering headshot. If you were going to play a fragile class without headshots, just try Gunspy. However, there is something to be said about how the Sydney Sleeper works. Taking it back a step, let's look at Sniper. Sniper is a support class. I know, it's a bizarre point to make, but Sniper is a support class. Medic as a support makes a lot of sense. He provides healing, invulnerability, or crits to teammates while often neglecting his own abilities and weapons.
Force Medic, I'm trying to get to you.
However, the other two support classes, being Spy and Sniper, have the job of picking off enemies. Does it make sense? Not entirely, so much so that plenty of people have created recommendations for alternate class roles or swapping the role of Sniper completely. Personally, I think Spy makes a little sense. Spy can waste enemies' time by sapping teleporters, destroy teammate trust through paranoia, and pick off tanky enemies through backstabs. However, with all of this, one of the most important parts of Spy is his team. You may have heard this tip before, but using your teammates to distract enemies can be a strong way to nail backstabs. Spy gets an innate benefit from working with his teammates. As much as the Lone Wolf, Kunai, Deadringer, 2K plus hours, Spy main wants to disagree with me. Sniper, on the other hand, is different. His main support mechanic, other than picking off targets, is the ability to use Jarate to extinguish teammates or douse enemies. And this really isn't that much of a support option. Sniper's primary supporting function comes from his ability to remove targets. This is why the Huntsman isn't considered the most unique primary. The Huntsman simply does what a sniper normally does, but at a closer range with more luck. Now, what does this have to do with the Sydney Sleeper? When you first look at it, the Sydney Sleeper's stats seem quite good. You have a plus 25% charge rate, allowing you to shoot enemies faster than with other rifles. On a scoped hit, you apply Jarate for 2 to 5 seconds based on the level of charge. And additionally, scoped headshots mini-crit and reduce the remaining cooldown of Jarate by 1 second. The real problem stat is that gut-busting
no headshot.
Which isn't entirely true because you're still getting a mini-crit, but the difference is a lot. Rather than doing 450 damage at a scoped 100% headshot, you do a measly 203. Obviously though, the plus 25% charge rate means that you can spread Jarate to more targets. However, does this even really work? In reality, the issue with the Sydney Sleeper is the traditional sniper playstyle. Normally, a sniper will pick a single target, kill them, and move forward. The Sydney Sleeper isn't rewarded by this playstyle. It's actually penalized. This isn't why the Sydney Sleeper is the most unique primary. No. In reality, it's because the Sydney Sleeper is the premier support option for snipers. What is the point of soaking an enemy in Jarate if seconds later you go for another headshot? Instead, let your teammates get the finisher. I know collectively every sniper main just took a large gasp, but it's okay. You aren't alone anymore. Do a trust fall and try it. I'm not saying it's better, heck it might just be worse, but it's a different way to play sniper at the very least. Will it always work? Maybe. However, the Sydney Sleeper is by no means a perfect weapon. Like many things in Team Fortress 2, the Sydney Sleeper hasn't received updates in a long time, and it shows. While it probably won't happen, I wanted to talk about how I would change the Sydney Sleeper. Sentiment around this weapon is all over. At one point in history, this weapon was despised for having Jarate explosions on full shots. The way people talked about the Sydney Sleeper back then was entirely different than the viewpoint today. It pretty much auto shuts down any kind of push. Anyone moving into a fight who takes a Sydney Sleeper hit will be forced to back off or die. Drams. Today, the gun is seen more as a meme, used by people who can't land headshots, which I am included in. Luckily, my suggestions come down to making the Sydney Sleeper better at what it already does, applying Jarate. Currently, the way Jarate applied really doesn't make sense. You get a longer duration the longer you charge the shot. However, if you fully charge headshot a number of classes, they will just die anyway. Besides, what's the point of taking most of a heavy's health away with a full charge just to get diminishing returns on Jarate? I've heard it mentioned elsewhere, but what if the headshot caused the full 5-second duration of Jarate? If it were any other gun, a zero-charge headshot would deal 150 damage. Instead, a zero-charge headshot with the Sydney Sleeper would deal 68 damage and apply 5 seconds of Jarate. Balanced? Maybe not. Guaranteed mini-crits are pretty powerful, but it would fit the gun better. And I think that is exactly what Valve was trying to do with the splash of Jarate in the past. They wanted the Sydney Sleeper to apply Jarate to more targets. However, they didn't know what the best route of action for doing this was. We could also take an entirely different route. What if the Sydney Sleeper was rewarded for staying scoped in? What if, as you charged the Sydney Sleeper, there was a dart meter that would fill up to a maximum of 3 darts? These darts would then be used when you shoot to apply the full duration of Jarate. All of a sudden, you have 3 chances to get full Jarate and then charge for additional uses after that. How long would the charge time be? I don't know. I personally think doing 3 seconds, which is roughly the amount of time currently to be full charge, would be a little quick. However, at the same time, maybe that's exactly what the Sydney Sleeper needs. Again, these ideas aren't entirely about balance, but rather starting a dialogue about fixing the Sydney Sleeper. For me, the unique idea of dousing multiple enemies is what I think should be focused on fixing. However, maybe this isn't the problem at all. Maybe I'm so focused on the Jarate application that I'm missing a greater flaw in the design of the Sydney Sleeper. If you have suggestions for ways to fix the Sydney Sleeper, let me know in the comments down below. Also, do you think that these suggestions would work, or do you think they just cause more balancing problems for Valve in the future? This video isn't about making the Sydney Sleeper more viable, or even getting more people to use it, although I would recommend it. Rather, this video at its core is about the Team Fortress 2 community, and how we continue to thrive to this day. Trying new things, embracing the unique, and sharing our thoughts has kept Team Fortress 2 alive while other games have died at our feet. So go out, try new things, document your progress, and most importantly, share it. It doesn't have to be a YouTube video. It can be screenshots, discussions, messages between friends, or even shenanigans in a casual game. Whatever you do, share it. I've been wanting to make a video about the Sydney Sleeper for a while now, over a year to be exact. It's crazy to think about all the progress I've made and that it's been a year since I started posting Team Fortress 2 clips in general. I just really wanted to thank you all for the support, especially after seeing how well received my last video was. It really does mean a lot. Not only does it show how strong the Team Fortress 2 community is, but it also just shows me that maybe I do know what I'm doing. Thank you all for your support. Bye for now.